Val Tan, my colleague, joins us live from Shanghai. And Val, China, of course, hosting this world's top economic leaders and some significant comments coming out from the PBOC governor.
That's right, Adam. More reassuring messages coming out from the central bank governor of China, basically saying more room to maneuver in the monetary policy, but he didn't exactly say how, when and why. But he also did say that he expressed concerns over the dwindling forex reserves here in China. He was trying to address a question asked by a reporter basically on dwindling forex reserves. He says he used the analogy of water in a reservoir. He says forex reserves of China are not like oil. It will not run out. There will be inflows, there will be outflows. It's pretty liquid, but China is definitely closely monitoring that situation. China's economic growth may be slowing and its markets may be struggling, but people are still spending, especially during the Lunar New Year holidays. According to China's national bank network, China UnionPay, spending during the 7-day Lunar New Year holidays shot up 31% on year to $48 billion. That's a new record for the 7-day national holiday. Chinese officials say the replacement is just the beginning of a series of overhauls the government is taking to try to fix the financial sector. But analysts say the move was necessary and has been in the works for some time now. It's just it's just a way by the government to show investors that they're doing something to fix the problems in the market. Just as important as well, analysts say, someone has to take the blame for what has been branded a stock market crisis. But analysts do not have high hopes for the successor, Mr. Liu Shiyu. He faces many uphill challenges, but he's also unlikely to rock the boat. After all, he has seen what happened to his predecessor, who implemented sweeping changes, including the infamous circuit breaker, which you mentioned earlier, which kind of led to the end of his chairmanship. And over the years, the forum has put the small town of Boao on investors' map. It now has its very own airport, which cost $150 million to build, and is expected to serve an annual passenger traffic of 480,000.
Elsewhere, though, the prospects are less optimistic. Blocks of unsold condominiums line the beach after a building frenzy in the last 3 years.
Business should boom during this year's Shuangshi or Singles Day, with sales expected to exceed $9 billion, as recorded last year by Alibaba, which started a massive markdown to generate sales. The strategy pulls in sales, but retailers say it comes at a cost, with pressure to slash prices and accept lower margins. This is what one merchant had to say when I asked her about what she's expecting this year.
Every year, actually starting about a week ago, to get ready for Shuangshi, which is Singles Day, we basically clear out the entire office and it's just nothing but warehousing. And
historians estimate that there are at least 10,000 military brothels in China during the Japanese occupation, and the ratio was 1 comfort woman to 89 soldiers.
This is one of the many buildings here in Shanghai converted into a military brothel by the Japanese soldiers during the occupation. It's now a rundown residential complex occupied by 3 families here. Historians have managed to convince the government not to tear the building down, but no one wants to foot the bill when it comes to evicting the residents and turning it into a museum. A night of revelry turned into tragedy. Over 36 people died when a stampede happened here on this very spot last year during New Year's Eve. Hundreds of thousands of people showed up, unaware that there were no countdown activities on the Bund last year, and officials were ill-prepared for the unprecedented surge in crowd numbers.
29-year-old trading executive Tian Ye was there when the incident happened.
Demand from China perhaps has reached its peak this year. When do you expect prices to bottom out?
Well, we have seen demand level out at around 800 million tonnes. There's increasing levels of exports as well, which are
downgrading their outlook on government debt in China from stable to negative. And Premier Li said that, while the debt level is not high, debt to GDP ratio is about 17%. Do you think this is a big risk for China?
With the debt levels this high, your margin for error is much thinner.
is the US market really important to Xiaomi?
It's not as important. I mean, they've become the 3rd largest Android manufacturer in the world without selling a single handset in the United States.
interest rates are very high right now. What are your options? Or will you see the central bank sell more forex reserves?
Нет, как раз из-за того, что Банк России перешел.
Which would push it close to the success of Transformers, China's highest-grossing foreign film last year.
Projected to take over the US as the world's biggest movie-going market in the next 3 years, China has increasingly become an important market for Hollywood films. Just this year, 8 Hollywood films held red carpet premieres in China, setting a new record. So despite the rampant piracy problems and China's non-negotiable quota of 30 foreign films per year, for Hollywood, wooing the Chinese moviegoer is do or do not. There is no try. Val Tan, Channel News Asia.